Welcome back to the Smith Nerds, everybody, and today we are doing another one of those tying up loose ends videos, I like to call them, where we take a show I've reviewed way back in the day and re-review it simply with better analysis. Hope that's the idea, at least. So today we're going to be reviewing the 2011 anime High School of the Dead. Now, I went back and watched my old review of it, which I posted all the way back in September of 2017. Yeah, it's been a while since I made that video. And I was planning on making this video anyway, but then I went back and watched my original review and thought, oh god, yeah, that show definitely needs a re-review. Because in that video, I managed to get multiple of the characters' names wrong. Speaking of the characters, let's go over them. We have our main character, who is Takashi. He's who we follow most of the time. We have the girl that he very much is in love with, Rei, who is the ginger-haired girl in the thumbnail. Where there's Tagaki, the pink-haired girl, who I called Tamagi in the original review. Don't know how I got that so wrong. She is extremely smart and is like part of a very prestigious family. There's Saeko, spelled Saeko. She's the other girl in the thumbnail. She is very skilled when it comes to sword play. She's very skilled when it comes to weapons like that. Then there's Hirano, the only other guy who's part of this group, who is very skilled and very knowledgeable when it comes to guns. And finally, Miss Shizuka, the school nurse. So, as you can imagine, the show is about high schoolers in a zombie apocalypse. Which is exactly what the show is. It follows Rei. It follows Takashi being pissed off at Rei because we get an immediate flashback to when Rei and Takashi were kids, and basically the two of them promised that when they grew up, they'd get married, but that hasn't exactly gone to plan because Rei likes this other guy called Hisashi. And this pisses Takashi off immensely. So Takashi is sulking on some stairs, which is like his go-to spot for when he's upset. Which is where Tagaki finds him. And before you know it, they can hear banging on the school gate at the front. Because a zombie has arrived, and the teacher that grabs hold of it gets bitten on the arm, and all hell breaks loose. Everyone starts panicking, as you'd imagine. Students are trampling on each other. But we end up having the team of Takashi, Rei, Tagaki, Hirano, Saeko, and Miss Shizuka forming, with it still inside the school. Whilst Takashi, Rei, and Hisashi are all on the roof, Hisashi gets bitten. So Takashi does what you have to do, and Hisashi turns into a zombie, and then Takashi kills him as the zombie to make sure he's fully dead. Our 6 characters all manage to escape the school in one of these on one of the coaches that the school has. Unfortunately, just before they are about to leave, one of the one teacher that Ray hates more than anyone, Mr. Shido, happens to be around, and he gets a bunch of the other students onto the coach as well before they leave. So we follow the next few episodes where Ray and Takashi end up splitting up from the rest of the group because a truck crashes into the coach and there's a big explosion that sets one of the entrances to a tunnel on fire, which Ray and Takashi have already gone past. So they're split up for the next for a couple of episodes. And they happen to find a bike, but this absolute psycho grabs hold of Ray, puts a knife to her neck, and starts aggressively groping one of her boobs. And that's something that this show does a lot of. Fan service. This show is packed with fan service. Whether it's the sound effect that any of the girls' boobs make when they flop up and down, like the jiggle physics, if you know what I mean. And there's a ton of panty shots. Sometimes completely unnecessary ones. It's like, okay, that was very random. But the thing is, panty shots are kind of it's a lost art form, like within anime these days. You never see them anymore. And that probably has something to do with the fact that anime has become very mainstream since COVID. People who say like the panty shots and sometimes the over-sexualization of the female characters, people who say that's problematic, I mean, it's fine to have that opinion, but the reason why it's a stupid opinion, and the reason for that being is panty shots and the jiggle physics. Those two things are key to what makes anime what it is. And you know for a fact that most of the people who don't want these types of things in anime were the ones that 5 to 10 years ago were the ones bullying you for liking anime at all. But now here, it's the problem that so many forms of media have, especially since the 2020 started. People will come into your hobby, whether it's video games, anime, whatever. They'll come into it pretending that they actually care about it. They don't. What they'll do, and then they'll find things that make what said piece of media that they've infiltrated what it is, call it problematic, and then they'll try and call you a fake fan for wanting to keep said thing that makes piece of media what it is. These types of people have a few different names. The most common one is tourist. They come in and try to change everything to their liking, while make it so no longer is the thing that you enjoyed closely resembled anything to what it used to be. This is why we as actual anime fans, and especially the people who creating manga and anime, they need to push back so much against these types of people who are trying to turn anime into something that it isn't. But now back on track. So Takashi ends up killing. Well, he doesn't kill, but he shoots the absolute wacko who's holding Rei at knife point. He shoots him point blank about here, and then lets the rest of the zombies finish him off. Now, the most infamous episode of this series is episode 6. In my original review, I said it was episode 8. Did I pay attention the first time to anything in this show the first time I watched it, back in 2017? Did I actually pay attention to any of it? Because it does not seem like that in the slightest. The infamous episode where Rei, Takagi, Mishizuka and Saiko all are like full on naked in the bathroom together. And you can see everything. There's no censorship here. All four girls' boobs are fully on display for you to see. Full on, completely naked. You can just see absolutely every inch of each girl's body. So I feel like if High School of the Dead was ever made today, people would probably have mental breakdowns if that scene was made today instead of 15 years ago. Like there'd be people going absolutely mental over it, and they'd be trying to get the animators on the show cancelled. They'd be trying to get the director cancelled, the manga writer cancelled. They'd be trying to get so many people, everyone involved with High School of the Dead cancelled if a scene like that, that exact scene was made today instead of back then. So when our characters finally do meet up again, they end up saving this little girl called Alice, whose dad gets killed right in front of her after he was trying to find refuge somewhere. But when the people he's trying to open the door to the house he's trying to he's begging for them to open. They open the door and then stab him immediately, which kills him. So Hirano, who's the expert with guns, covers Takashi, who goes down and saves her. The next episodes are just the characters just surviving, trying to get to Takaki's house, because she's of course from a prestigious family and they have a pretty big house with a lot of land. Now, one of the more famous scenes from this show is Takashi using Rei's boobs as a bipod to put his sniper rifle before he shoots it. And as the bullet's going through, the first bullet goes just between Saiko's legs. So another panty shot for you. The second shot goes in between her boobs. Like, it's so the jiggle physics are on a madness when for this second bullet. Her boobs literally flop forward and backwards, just barely missing the bullet each time. This probably does sound a bit mental without any visuals to go along with what I'm saying, but that's kind of what this show is, a bit mental. Now, it only has one season, and it doesn't look like there's ever going to be a second season. Although weirdly, a game has just been announced for this show in the very not that long ago. Like this was so random because this game had nothing to do with me why I was going to make this video. It's just a complete coincidence that this is around the time that they announced a High School of the Dead game 15 years after the show released, and I'm making my re-review of the show after watching back just how horrendously bad my original review was. I got the characters' names wrong. I didn't even get the infamous episode where everyone's naked. I didn't get that right. I mean, Takashi has an unfathomable amount of riz in this show. Obviously, he's got Rei, who he wants to be with, and by the end of season 1, the two of them basically get together. Takagi has known Rei since she was a kid, and she doesn't say it, but it's more or less hinted at that she likes him as well. And then by the further we get into the show, even Saiko-san, even she starts to like him. And it's like, does every girl this guy comes into contact with like him? The only one who doesn't like him in that way is Alice, and that's because she's a freaking child. She sees him as she sees him more of a big brother, since she doesn't actually have any family alive anymore after her dad was killed. The show ends with our main group heading off to look for Rei and Takashi's family, since the only person's family we found was Takaki's right towards the end of the show. So High School of the Dead is in a very, I would say, a product of his time, but that should never be a thing. There shouldn't be shows that are products of their time, because people get offended at the tamest of things nowadays. So it should, like, have you seen it? I'm not saying that there's no anime ever that release anymore that don't push the boundaries. I mean, look at the first episode of Goblin Slayer. That was pushing the boundaries. Interspecies Reviewer, that was certainly pushing it. So there are some anime that still do this, but significantly less than what there was back in the day, like 10 to 15 years ago. But that will do it for my High School of the Dead review, nearly 9 years after my original one. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and until we meet again, I will see you in the next one.